Elden Ring, widely considered one of the most ambitious games of our generation, combines the ruthless gameplay of the Soulsborne series with the world-renowned storytelling of George R.R. Martin. Okay, so you know when you're sitting with someone and they come up with an idea that sounds good at first and you're like, oh yeah, let's do it. And then less than 30 minutes later, you're like, oh, why did I agree to that? Well, I think that's what happened to George here, because while he did take on a role that helped mold the story into what it would become, it was From Software that took the heavy lifting in the story department, basically building upon whatever lore he provided them. And honestly, I can't really blame the guy, he's just kind of living his life, you know? But I do find it a little bit misleading that they so heavily connected his name to the project, when in reality, he's just kind of sitting back, eating donuts, shooting some hoops, you know? Despite Martin's lack of input, I really appreciate how From Software was able to so effectively integrate lore into the gameplay, with certain areas or shortcuts only being unlocked if you were really paying attention to what's going on in the world. Okay, now moving on to the bit that actually matters, the gameplay. Listen, what type of gameplay do you like? Do you like sword fights, you know? How about a giant hammer? Maybe, just maybe, you want to use a bow and arrow. Okay, maybe not that one, but still. I don't know if I've ever seen a game manage to be so rich in lore and manage to be even more rich in its gameplay options. And don't even get me started on the bosses. In fact, I won't get started on the bosses because it's better to experience blind, trust me. Now, if you aren't someone who usually enjoys these types of difficult games, in all honesty, this is probably the easiest in the series, so I think it's a great entry point, and it does go on sale every so often, so keep your eye out for that. Now, time for the part we've all been dreading. The negatives. And this is going to get into somewhat spoilery territory, so click off now if you want to experience the game blind, because I think it's something everyone should try at least once. But look, so I know I said that the story is good and all. In fact, I said it was great, but I think that the core story that the game follows is just a bit eh. Like I said earlier, if you go into the game looking for rich lore, you'll be satisfied, but as a player who mostly focuses on gameplay, you'll likely find yourself lost at certain points, and if you're like me, you'll end up turning to guides. And in all honesty, two of the endings are kind of being gatekept by the lore goblins, and I don't rock with that personally, that's just me, but like, I think all the endings should be obtainable without having to look at guides or get a PhD on the game. And I might get hate for that, but that's just me. And those are kind of nitpicks, but my biggest complaint with the game is the crafting system is just so useless. Like, you never use it. You can give me the 50th cookbook, I don't care. I still don't know what those things do. And in all honesty, I don't think I want to know. Cups of the rose, bitches in my